What is up, everyone? Welcome to the usual Monk and Lou happy hour. Monk cannot be here tonight. He is doing.
He is here today.
Guys, I don't really know what he's doing. I stopped reading once he said he couldn't make it. But luckily for me, I found a great substitute. My friend, always looking for streams to get on, and I always like working with him. The Jewish Bettor, Money Mort, bringing all the shekels. Jewish Bettor, talk to the people, man. How you doing, bud?
Oh, Mazel Tov, my brother. What a beautiful intro, and I'm feeling extra Jewy today. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And
Shalom!
Shalom, right. I just have a little saying I gotta say right before we start this. Let's get these shekels. Oy vey, my brother. What's up?
Oy vey. Well, we got some good people in the chat. We got some of our usuals. I see we got Blood Money Cody in here. We got Kristen, Professor Chaos. We got Daz. I know more people will be rolling in after that exciting Kansas City Chiefs Denver Broncos game. More importantly, go Phillies. Dan Levy owes me a shoey for the second year in a row. He'll probably never talk to me ever again after he does this one. But we're here to break down UFC Vegas 81. So I am going to pull up the great Tapology. And how many fights do we have on this thing? 12? Just seeing how I can get you to end last.
I think it's 12.
12.
So,
all right.
right.
So you start this one off. We got Ashley Yoder against Dakota in the strawweight division. I don't know why Yoder's back. I don't know why she got a 4-fight contract extension against Dakota. Dakota is pretty wide. All these odds are going to be from DraftKings, by the way. Dakota is currently minus 395. The over 2.5 juice to the tits. Minus 375. JB, you got a play on this one?
Yeah, I want to try and figure out a way where I could figure out, like, how do Cody get it done, like, inside the distance, right? She's got to finish Yoder, and I just can't figure it out, man. Yoder's never been finished, and, like, she had Panay hurt to, dead to rights with those leg kicks, and she couldn't finish an old, decrepit version of Panay. Now, Yoder, though, like, I will say skill-wise isn't that great, like, in the first place. So now she's back off a 2-year layoff. She's getting kind of old now. 35, I think it is. I mean, Ducote money line's the way for me to go here. I'll just put her in like a parlay. I know it's women's MMA and it's a pretty chalky pick. It could bust, but tit for tat, I think she's going to get the better of the exchanges, and she might even be able to get her out of there. But just money line for me, bro.
Yeah, same. I got to figure out a way to play it. I typically don't like laying more than minus 300 on a women's MMA fight, but I don't know what Yoder's path is. She's low volume. She's coming off injuries. I think Dakota's takedown defense will be good enough to keep us on the feet. And even if it's not, like, grappling's not horrible. And on the feet, this is one-way traffic. The leg kick should be there. I'm with you that I think she does probably get a KO here. Gets her out of there late. But it just feels like a get-right fight. I don't really have much more to add to this one.
Yeah.
So let's move on to a fight that I think there is some chatter about this one. We got Chris Gutierrez, El Guapo, against Alatang Haile. This is at bantamweight. Right now, this line has been taking some weird movement, but currently it looks like it's come. A little money came in on Alatang. Gutierrez back down to minus 270. Alatang plus 220. Again, the over juiced over 2.5 is minus 280. I will start this one off. I have no play here. If I wanted to get Alatang, I guess I should have gotten him like a day ago. He's low volume. He does have a path here where he could just maybe eat up minutes on the ground. Gutierrez kind of makes fights a lot more difficult than they need to be in general. Like, he has a lot of weird split decisions, and I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in him here, but I also don't think Alatang's win against Chad and Helliger is really like a quality win either, where he was getting the grappling going. So Gutierrez by decision is probably what's going to happen here. I'm laying off this one completely, though. What about you, JB?
Yeah, I think on Helliger was a decent win. I mean, I think Alatang's probably coming into his prime now at 32 years old. He's got good coaching. He listens to his coaches when he's in there. The thing I like about him, too, is he has power in both hands also. And he kind of leads you into punches. He'll funnel you into these punches. Now, Gutierrez is probably, tit for tat, the overall better striker with the better weapons. But you said Alatang's a little low volume. I think, Gutierrez is a little bit low volume as well sometimes in some of his fights. And some of just the wins on his record, I'm not too impressed with as well. level of competition I think I'll have to give to him, but still, it's nothing that would be screaming minus 435. So I had to take a shot on Haley Alatang. I was probably one of the first people on him, but I'll put even a little extra at this price. This dude, he has a path to victory here with the wrestling upside, and I think he could even get a knockout here with some sneaky power. He put Kevin Kroom out quick, and I know Kevin Kroom isn't, the greatest or even in the UFC anymore, but still, he has power. So,
What number did you get on this?
well, he's plus 350 now. I put a little half unit on that, but I got him at like plus 300 or early in the week. I got him. So I like Alatang here, man. I think he's a live underdog, and I think parlaying Gutierrez at anything more than minus 200 is absolutely absurd.
Yeah,
plus, yeah, my bad, Doug.
no, go ahead. Good.
He opened at plus 190, and dude, it's just been getting steamed ever since. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, I would caution anybody parlaying Gutierrez here. Just again, it's a guy wide money line, a guy that like even if he wins, he makes these fights just way closer than he needs to be, and like you don't want to be sweating a minus 300 plus ticket, like with a guy that's really has like all he has is like leg kick upside, probably doesn't have finishing upside here, and definitely doesn't have grappling upside here. So I would just caution against that for the two people that care what I have to think. And now I'm giving you another banger, just banger after banger. Russian Ronda, Irina Alekseeva against Melissa No Meth Dixon at 135. Pretty close line. Dixon's about she's minus 148 on DraftKings. I've seen it about minus 150, minus 140 range. I think there's a 142 out there still. The total is plus 114 under 2.5. So this is finally one that like at least the odds makers think does have a chance to finish. I think I know who you're on here, and I think we're going to agree. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't got a big take on it, but I think, this is probably going to be a good live bet spot too. It's not a huge confident take, but I think Dixon will probably give up round one, and she'll probably get round two and three just based off of. I don't think this girl has sustainable cardio, and just something from my belief, I just feel like she has quit in her. In the last fight versus Egger, I feel like if round one, she wasn't able to get her out of there, and she wasn't able to get that knee bar, Stephanie Egger is able to get out of it. I think things start to get really dicey there, and Dixon isn't nothing special, but I'll take her at this price, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. I actually am getting to a bet on her here. I was debating taking her by 2-3 KO as well. To your point about Alekseeva having quit, I mean, I have my notes from taping her. Like, and I see Sean saying that Dixon isn't good. I don't think Dixon is very good. I don't think she has a huge ceiling, but she seems like she has good cardio. Like, she seems tough. The Aries fight I saw, like, she's all right. It's just more Alekseeva's tape was so bad. It was so bad before the Egger fight. She's being brought in really like just to give Egger a win. And then now we understand that Egger is just really, really bad. She's awful. That she got caught. Like, awful meme sub. The beauty of it is because that happened, now we're getting a pretty good price to fade her as opposed to, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I like Dixon. I think she's a live bet spot. I think to Sean's point, if you like Alekseeva, I'd probably play her round one. Like, or I'd play her in the distance and try to get a bigger number on her than, the plus 115. Like, you may as well get a big number because if you don't like where it's going, if she wins the first round, you'll have a hedge out opportunity taking Dixon live. But yeah, I favor Dixon here. Not a super strong take because
Yeah.
we don't have a ton of tape on either one, to be honest. But the tape on Alekseeva is awful. It's very my notes are like 98 point font, like really bad.
The one thing I wanted to say about both girls is they do give up positions in the grappling very easily. Like I saw a fight with Alekseeva where she was just belly down flat. The girl had her back and she was flat on her stomach, just getting ground and pounded in. I think it was versus it was the fight she lost. And then the other girl, Dixon, she'll have these girls in the same exact position, fully just flattened out on their stomach. And I could fast forward the fight 10 seconds and they're back to standing somehow. So I just don't understand how, Dixon is, giving up these positions. But if that's something she could work on here, especially in the later rounds, I think she has grappling upside, cardio advantage. She doesn't get finished in round one here. With those intangibles, I just think she's going to be able to win this fight more often than not. I might get to a bet on her, but I got her on as a low confidence play right now.
Yes, sir. I see Kristen in the chat is calling for some clam bags here. I definitely think that's possible. But I got 2 yam bag plays I like on this card, JB. So we're going to get to them at some point, and I'm always excited when you get double the baggage. This is not one. Terrence McKinney against Brendan Marat. It's at 155. I don't know what the hell they're doing here. I know he's short notice. I know he's doing cartel. A lot of his tape is like behind the paywall. This guy is I don't know what to make of him, but like, this is a total pass for me, this fight. I mean, you're not getting, we don't even have props on. I don't have a prop on McKinney round one yet. I don't know if you've seen one, but we're not going to get a very good price here for anything on the McKinney side. And like, there's no way I'm betting Marat. So is there any angle here that you like on this fight?
I mean, Marat is kind of durable. Like, this is crazy, man.
Would you live bet him?
No. Well, maybe that. Yeah. Yeah, no. If I go, this is too crazy to think. Like, maybe McKinney wants to prove, like, he's got, like, a good gas thing. I don't know, but there's no angle on this fight for me, bro. Maybe McKinney over 1.5 somehow, because this kid is pretty tough. Like, that's what I wanted to get at is I think it's going to have to be a submission. So probably round one submission for me. He's going to take this kid down.
Those props should be out. They'll
competitive.
be out tomorrow, I would imagine. Like, we'll finally have something. Although, who knows? Like, FanDuel wasn't putting out props. It was like the day of the fight. Like, no props for the undercard.
I don't like betting on McKinney fights because it's just like we already know what it is. The read's already there. It's one round he guesses bad. So
right. I mean, look, if this thing gets out of the first and Marat is like, I mean, I think they're catching on to this a little bit. But if Marat's like plus 900, plus 1,000, if the line is bonkers, like after one, I think you almost have to do it. You got to throw something. The shekel, right?
yeah, at least a shekel. If not, you're schmeckle.
We got Alex Ramirez in chat. I'll acknowledge Justin Viegas, even though it hurts my soul to acknowledge him. But congratulations on making the 80 streams a week club. We're very proud. The trophy's coming in the mail. And we will move on. And man, I feel really bad that I'm starting you off with like every women's fight, but I did this so that you can end the night on the main event. But Tamara Lisboa against Ravina Oliveira. Really no tape on Oliveira. And then Lisboa, coming off a win against a retired JRC. I don't know if you have a strong feeling here, but I know that our boy Pepe has a little bit of a feeling on this one. So what do you got here?
Yeah, I like Lisboa a lot here, man. I think she has a lot of ways to win this matchup. But her kickboxing is actually really good. I don't know what happened in her debut fight. Remember, this is her UFC debut, so there's a lot of jitters, and Ravana is going to have to go through that here in this situation, right? Yeah, Rose Clark isn't the greatest win in the world, but she was able to get the finish, right? And that's what we like to see. She fought all the way through to the third round, able to get the finish. When I watched the Oliveira versus an 0-0 opponent, I wasn't really too impressed. I know she has some offensive wrestling that she goes to later in the rounds, but how good is it really? Is it indicative of her wrestling abilities, or is it, the girls she's facing are just not that good? And I kind of tend to lean that the girls she's facing are just not that good. I think the stand-up has a lot of holes in it that Lisboa could expose. And I think Lisboa has good 3-round cardio, which we saw in that last fight as well. So, yeah, I don't think Lisboa, seeing her on the bottom versus Rose Clark really wasn't the funnest thing in the world. Like I was a little bit nervous there, right? But I think she gets this one done, man. I think she's overall the better fighter with the more experience. I don't know what the UFC is trying to do here with Ravana Oliveira, but I think she's coming into her UFC debut with a loss here, man.
I wanted to get to an Oliveira bet for one reason, because I'm looking at this like, what's the point of this fight? Why are they bringing in a 26-year-old against an older fighter? Like, are they trying to set her up? Should Lisboa be minus 350? I don't know, maybe, but you look at Oliveira's fight history, dude, other than her last fight, her 8 fights before that, her opponents are a combined 1-3. She's fighting 0-0 fighters. 0-0 and 0-1 fighters. She's not even facing like the Jay Ellises of the world. She's not facing like a 2-10 fighter. She's just facing debut fighters over and over and over again. Like, they say iron sharpens iron. Like, you're not improving by fighting, like, just debuting fighters over and over again. And this Simone de Silva, like, I mean, she was 8-5, like, when they fought. Do you know what her record is now?
Tell me.
17-27. So literally,
That's not bad.
She's just never fought anybody who's like a competent anything. At least this, one had experience, de Silva. I'm not like super high on Lisboa, but I like that she throws a lot of strikes. I like that she seems to have some grappling equity. I think she'll be able to be a little more well-rounded here. You mentioned the jitters for Oliveira. I totally understand that. I just, as much as like I want to get to a bet on the underdog here because it's a women's MMA fight, I've seen nothing to indicate that this girl will survive the first round against like an actual person with cage experience. I can't. So the pick is Lisboa. I'm not betting it. I'll be straight up, not going to parlay it, not betting it. There's something in the back of my head that says like something's weird about this fight. But I think Lisboa's the side. All right. So look, the next couple of fights you get, you're not starting off for any more women's fights. That's
dude. Bring me all the women's fights in the world. I love it. I hate when people say, "Oh, we don't like the women's fights. Why you got to give me that? I didn't study them. Get out of here with
what
that
I want
bullshit."
to do is I was just talking with Big Steve in his chat for a little bit before this show, and I think they should do a Mug Shorties card. Just all what Mug Shorties is, right?
No, tell me, bro. Tell me.
I'm about to make your world a lot better. So it's the only reason to be on Twitter, dude. Forget about MMA. It's the only reason to be on Twitter. Mug Shorties is just a Twitter account posting mugshots of women and the crimes they committed. And you just look at it like, that's fixable. And then it's like child arson. You're like, okay, pass. She's not redeemable. Like,
okay, I get it.
And DUI, like, no problem. Like, petty theft. All right, I'll lock everything up. Fixable. It's a great site. It's just absolutely great site. I just think they should rage and fight on a whole card, and I will do like the best live stream ever.
Dude, not a bad idea.
Yeah, seriously, go follow that account. It'll blow your mind. Last fight on the prelims, I believe. I could be wrong. I think there's 6 fights on the main card, I think. Just gonna check that. Yes. Darren Elkins. Darren the Damage. One last ride. We'll see. He's fighting TJ Brown. Elkins can be had at plus 150 on DraftKings. The under 2.5 is plus 105. TJ Brown, to come back on him is minus 180 as a favorite. Okay, so I played the under 2.5 at plus 105. I want to bet Elkins. I love Elkins. I'm biased, just for the record. I fucking love this guy. He's hysterical. He's like a round 3 mythical creature. The dude's made me like way more money than I deserve for what he looks like and what he is. Excuse me. I don't like that he's coming off meniscus and an MCL injury. I don't like that he's 39. At the same time, I don't like anything about TJ Brown. Like, never been impressed with him. But I have to say that TJ Brown probably has a lot of round 1 finishing equity here. We don't know how Darren Elkins is going to look. I know that Brown probably can get takedowns in the first round. He's probably going to be the better striker. But what I don't like about TJ Brown, if this thing goes past the first round, he starts to like, I don't like his fight IQ. I don't like his heart. And I feel like he just kind of falls off the ledge little by little. And literally Elkins wins fights by Homer Simpsoning the fuck out of people. Like, that's what he does. And I think if he gives Brown an opening, and Brown's grappling, I think, is very sloppy. He makes tons of mistakes on the ground. He's put his neck out there. I mean, I know only Algio like finished him recently, but like Rosa got him in a choke. I think, who's the other guy that got him in a choke? Was it who was it recently?
Well, you mean tap him with a choke, or like just get him in a choke?
Oh yeah,
Jordan. I don't think Rosa got him in one.
No, Rosa had him in bad positions. Jordan Griffin choked him out.
Yeah, that was a while back. Yeah, Fair
But
enough.
he still seems to make mistakes, and he comes out hot. I don't love his cardio, so I feel like Elkins is another really good live entry here. You'll know after one round if Elkins' legs are okay. I mean, look, this isn't like fighting JSP, dude. Like, TJ Brown's not bringing a pace. The guys that have given Elkins trouble in the past are the ones that are right in his face giving him pace. Like Pierce. Like, I know Cub Swanson's not what he used to be, but Cub Swanson's another guy, got in his face, crowding him, like not giving him space to breathe and just throwing a lot of strikes. These are the dudes that give Elkins trouble. I don't think TJ Brown fights like that. And he definitely can't fight like that for more than like a minute or two. So, Lean Elkins, I just think he's better suited as a live bet. And I love the under. I think it does cover TJ Brown's win equity, which would be early. And it covers him getting caught in a choke, which is kind of Elkins' win equity here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think people just like kind of are seeing the how this fight could play out with TJ Brown and the cardio and Elkins, and they're kind of talking themselves into betting a 39-year-old who's, 50-50 in his last four fights. The dude is coming off surgeries, like you said, and sure, he lasted in his last fight, but he had no real chances of winning that. And yeah, I think TJ Brown does slow down as the fight goes on. He is also 50-50 in his last four fights as well. Same as you can see it right there. They kind of have the same trajectory going for themselves. Seeing Eric Silva get takedowns, a guy I wasn't super high on versus TJ Brown wasn't, something I really like to see. He's constantly, getting himself into trouble with the grappling. So I think Elkins has a path there. But I just think it's going to be early, TJ Brown with the striking. We saw what he was able to do to Algio, who we just saw recently piece up Alex Hernandez for 3 rounds. Man, TJ Brown's striking is really good, and I think he has power behind his shots. I think we're going to see him put out Darren Elkins, just like Cub did. This might be it for him, man. This guy's probably thinking about retirement soon, so I got to go with the guy who's still young, still fighting to get that check, feed his family. Well, no, both guys are, but at the end of the day, one is really kind of nearing the end, and that's Darren Elkins. So I got to go with TJ Brown here, as dumb as he is.
I just want to let you know that, and this was posted 4 minutes ago, Clint just posted a bet. He's on Ramona Oliveira sub, and he's on sub 2, and he's on sub 3. Just thought you and the viewers would want to know that. So do with that what you will.
Cash out my Lisboa bet.
He told me he was going to do that. He's like, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know, man. All right. Finally on the main card, and this is definitely the Twitter war of the week. Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod, against Cameron Simon. It's at 135. Rodriguez is a slight favorite here. Before I pass it to you, I'm just going to say it's one of these interesting fights that we see when you're a long-term gambler where everybody seems to be on one side and that line ain't moving, man. It always makes me a little nervous when I see that. But what do you like on this one? I'm sure you're betting it. I'm sure you're betting this one.
Yeah, who do you think everybody's on, though? That's what I'm...
C-Rod.
Yeah, dude, but I'm getting a lot of messages saying, man, Simon, like from people that are like, I don't want to say like casuals, but they're casuals, bro. They're like, man, I can't bet against him. That's an underdog. I can't bet it. Like he's the guy. So I think there's a side for Simon as well here, man. I bet C-Rod last time out. Big plus number. I kind of find it a little crazy that people are switching their tune so much after the Rosas fight to the point where he's a favorite against this guy. I thought it would probably be a pick 'em when I saw the fight drop. But the more and more I go watch the film, I just love what C-Rod does, and I bet on this guy every single time. I'm gonna just let you know I'm biased. I've gotten him at plus 1,000 by sub versus Joshua Weems. I've got this guy. I had him at for sub versus Raul Rosas, and I thought he was pretty close to subbing him, bro. Like in the later rounds, fucking finish him with ground and pound, maybe even. But that's something you could say he didn't get the finish in that fight. But I think he was really nervous there. That was a huge fight for him, man. All the stuff on the line for him, and he was able to come through in that spot. The UFC sees that, man. Put him up against another young prospect, and I think this is a test for Cameron Simon. They know how tough C-Rod is, how good he is. Simon's gotten 3 wins now, back to back to back. Versus maybe not the best level of competition in my opinion. Now I will say in so in the last fight, Terrence Mitchell, he got on top for a minute, but Terrence Mitchell has like 1 minute of cardio, bro. He just gave up his back and then gave up the fight. So I don't really know what I take much out of that win. I definitely rate the Rosas win. What were you gonna say, bro? My
No,
bad,
I'm agreeing. No, I'm just agreeing. I'm agreeing with all of it.
bro. And here's the thing. I think in every single fight that I see of Simon, man, he's getting taken down, putting on his back. And I think C-Rod is the best out of all the people he's faced from the top position. Now, maybe with the submissions and just grappling from his back, I think Kozlo could be a little bit, of a problem. But C-Rod, he hit that anaconda from that guillotine in that Weems fight pretty clean too. So I can't even say that. I think he's probably by far the best competition Simon's faced. Mana Martinez, yeah, he broke his hand in the first round, and Cameron Simon's liable to always get a point taken from him no matter what. So yeah, I already know where you're going with this one, my brother. That's basically a system play for you. Cameron Simon's fighting. We already know what's going to happen. So, yeah, I think C-Rod's going to try to get this one to the ground at some point. We haven't really seen his offensive wrestling, seen that wrinkle of his game, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have it. And his striking is there as well. So if this doesn't hit the mat, I still think it's not a wash by any means.
All right, let's just get this up on the screen before I say anything else. I got to protect you from this. Yeah, Simon is a weirdo who loves getting point deductions. He loves doing stupid shit. You mentioned the Kozlo fight. Kozlo, so like, by the way, I asked Kozlo why his nickname was his nickname because they had announced that fight on that Tuesday. And I'm like, the fuck does Obi-Wan Shinobi the pillow mean? The fuck does that mean? I sent him a message. He writes this really long run-on sentence that's like 15 lines. And it's going to sound strange. His nickname is exactly what you think it would be. He's like, oh man, somebody called me this, and then I liked Star Wars, and then they said, man, you knock guys out and they go to sleep on a pillow. And I'm like, so you liked them all? You couldn't choose? Just took them all as one fucking nickname? Like, give me a goddamn break. Guy takes that fight on 5 days' notice. Dude, he's shooting takedown. Look, I don't think his grappling is horrible, but like, dude, he was shooting takedowns from like 5 feet away, getting Simon down easily. And he just ran out of gas. And he got fouled. Like, that fight almost ended like Kozlo won by DQ. I think it was like a strike when he was on the ground, right? Like a
Yeah,
big
knee.
knee. Okay.
Yes, sir.
The Mana Martinez fight, he fouled the shit out of him too and compromised him. But I don't think highly of Mana Martinez. And then this isn't even that long ago, man. This is 14 months ago. The Josh Wang King fight. Yeah, it was a nice knockout. But Wang Kim was taking him down. He didn't know what to do. Like, this guy doesn't really know what to do on the ground. Terrence Mitchell stinks. I'm with you. I don't really take anything out of that fight. He didn't have time to foul him. Had it gone out of the first round, I'm sure he would have kicked him in the dick, and it wouldn't have been a problem. But what I like about C-Rod is you look like the Pierce fight, the Rosas fight. I don't really care about the Weems fight for the sake of this argument because he went in there and he just destroyed him. He's very composed. He's very measured. Like, you know how you look at some fighters and like they don't really know what they're all about yet. Like, they have wrestling, but they're trying to strike, and it just really doesn't fit together. C-Rod knows what he is. He's patient. His striking's okay, and he's aware of it. And I'm sure that's going to improve. He's young, but he knows that's not a good idea here. Making this just a kickboxing match is not a good idea. He knows how to get takedowns. He's patient. He has a process. He works through his process. Like against Rosas, going for subs. When the sub's not there, throwing punches, staying safe. Then going for subs. He kept making Rosas move, which is important. You're just eating up the clock, winning minutes, and winning minutes in a dominant fashion. The one thing I'll say for Simon is, much like Duplessis, he flails his limbs like it's martial arts. He calls it mixed martial arts. But he connects, and he has like kind of weirdly good cardio. Like, I feel like he shouldn't have the cardio he has with how much he puts into every single action. Like, everything on the ground is like just full energy. Every strike is like, he's trying to throw a guy out from left field. But it seems like he has pretty good cardio. But the problem is he's never fought a guy like this that's going to be able to keep him down and win minutes on the ground. So I like C-Rod a lot here. It was the first bet I made. I did take his sub prop. It is an absolutely,
Have to.
it's an absolutely shitty fucking number just to bet the sub.
What's
I
it
took
at?
plus 400, but
Wow.
at least that's on DraftKings. But on my other book that I use, so they have round 1 sub 800, round 2 1200, round 3 2200. The other book I use, Bet Parks, has round 2 at 1600, and they have round 3 at 2000. So I'd rather poke the round 2, round 3 sub on top of it, just small pokes. But yeah,
So
I like C-Rod quite a bit here.
can I say something real quick? Dude, I've been betting C-Rod subs for a while, and
Yeah, hold on, you're
that
talking.
is
Let me pull the banner. All right, go ahead. Oh, and Yam Bags all fucking day in this fight.
yes, sir. I've been betting the C-Rod sub prop for a while now, and I've never seen it at that low of a number. So I actually think I get it. Like books are adjusting the market, and they see what we see. So I don't
I
know.
mean,
I think that's a good bet, though.
even if you don't think that highly of C-Rod, like even if you look at his tape and you're like, he's just okay and he makes some mistakes. I mean, leaps and bounds, this is the best guy Simon's faced, and it's by tenfold, man. Like what would C-Rod be lined over Kozla? What would he be lined over Terrence Mitchell? Minus 1500? Like, what would he be? Not really, but like, what would he be? Minus 800?
Yeah, probably minus 400, minus 700.
He might even be right. He'd be ridiculous. I mean, so I don't know, man. We'll see with Simon. The thing that makes me hesitant about the sub, I did bet it, but the thing that makes me hesitant is, if you ever heard me talk about this, when I have guys that are undefeated, especially guys at like a lot of regional, and let's face it, Simon is just still facing regional guys. Kozla is a regional fighter. Like, that's his limit. Josh Wang Kim's a regional fighter. When you have guys that have like kind of cruised through the regionals, a lot of times I think as cappers, we make the mistake like, okay, well, now he's taking a step up. Now he can get finished. And people try to cheat a line. Not in this case, because it's a closely lined fight. But we really don't know how he will respond to adversity. Like, if he's being buried on the ground, like maybe the dude just has some weird, unreal toughness where he doesn't submit, like doesn't get submitted. I just think stylistically, Simon is so easy to take down, and C-Rod can have so many minutes of working submissions and ground and pound that I just think the sub will, even if it's like an accumulation of strikes that lead to him kind of like gives up fighting the sub. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that could happen. So I like the C-Rod sub here. We got one of your buddies. We got James, little bro, 89. What up, JB? 89 was
All
great.
day, my dude James, bro.
Okay,
Shout out to you. I appreciate you. We're halfway through this breakdown at least. We got a little bit more to go. Let's get these fucking shekels. Sorry.
We got a catch weight fight on this one. The rematch that we all wanted. C-Rod versus Shiraz versus Lacerda. Look, I gotta bring it back. It has to be back, just like last time. I'll make it quick. I took Shiraz round 2 sub last time. This time I'm taking Shiraz round 1 sub. I'm gonna have a small play on round 2 sub. Lacerda is awful. Anybody betting him, if you can explain why, because I just don't understand it. I don't know what you saw in any fight he's been in other than the Vergara fight that says he has a process, that he knows how to win. The guy went for 1 takedown against Shiraz. He did nothing with it. And then he was fucking gassed, dude. He was done. Like, that was the end of the fight. 1 takedown, and he was goddamn done. And it's not even like, I mean, I already broke this down. Like, so I don't need to again. Nothing in that fight said it's going to go any differently for me. I don't know what Shiraz round 1, round 2 is if you just want to, like, kind of cut it down and avoid a method. I'm pulling up right now. Let's see what this is. Minus 190 round 1, round 2 with Shiraz. If you really want to do that, I think the under 1.5 is about the same. Under 1.5 is minus 195. So you're probably better off just playing the under 1.5 here. In case Lacerda does hit a Hail Mary, but yeah, I don't really have much to add to this one. I mean, we got screwed last time. If you had a time prop last time, we got screwed.
So I mean, I'm gonna tell you right away, dude. I took Daniel in my parlay, but I put him at the bottom. I just think he's a live underdog. I think he's gonna be a parlay buster in this spot, especially on a fight that we just saw. We just saw Chairez win, quote unquote, right? So now the line actually kind of changed. I think you're getting a bigger line on Chairez now, if I'm not mistaken. So the books kind of already factored that into the market, but nothing really happened there, man. He got a takedown. We saw Chairez, doesn't have really the best takedown defense. And I think people are starting to overvalue Chairez a little bit because he has some holes in his game as well, specifically the takedown defense. Now, I don't think Daniel Da Silva has the greatest top grappling. I mean, he got knee barred by fucking Francisco Figueiredo, for fuck's sake.
In a minute.
But the line's a little bit wider. It's at a catch weight. So his cardio could be a little bit better at that weight. And I'm just interested to see what version of Chairez can, because he looked a little bit gun shy versus Da Silva in the beginning. It kind of led to a stalemate of a fight, almost like Yoel Izzy type thing, right?
But what do you think he comes out like now? I mean, now that he's going to come out with confidence, knowing like, all right, I'm like, do you think he comes out like, I don't think this guy can do shit?
No, dude.
I mean,
but that's how he fights in every fight. So I don't know, man. I think Lacerda could catch him early. And if he's able to maintain that cardio, then he maintains that power throughout the fight. And that's what's so dangerous about him, is he's so unpredictable and he can hit you with those strikes. So I think he's live to get a finish in here. And I could even see this one going over 1.5. Yeah, Chairez will win the later rounds, but I don't think he's some devastating finisher. And that sub, he had the arm and guillotine, but I don't think that was a true finish. I just think Lacerda's a fucking bonehead and limped his arm. And the ref is going to stop the fight if you limp your arm like that. So, yeah, man, I don't know about that one, but that just goes to show you, like, where's Chairez's IQ squeezing on a submission that's not, necessarily there? Is he going to squeeze his arms out? Like, I think Chairez is liable to make mistakes too. The Tyra fight, it was impressive that he didn't get finished there, and he even dropped Tyra at one point, right? But I don't know, man. I think Lacerda's a live underdog. I'll throw him at least in the bottom leg. That way, if it does hit and all it goes right, the parlays on everybody else get busted, but mine might still hit for, like, the kosherness.
I'm not, look, I'm not coming at you after you just nailed the PRP Tuesday against my boy Cortavius. But yeah, I don't know.
What happened?
I think I'm retired. I'm retired from interviewing people on the channel. I just realized we've interviewed 3 fighters on this channel. We started out 1-0. Cody Brundage beat Trayshawn Gore. And then guys I've interviewed are 0-6 since. So I think Weezy and I are going to take a step back from the interview game. And unless you want me to interview like a guy you hate, and then I'll interview him, so you can just fade the shit out of him. Like, I'm happy to do that for the people.
Jamie Malarkey.
Oh, I'd love to interview Malarkey. I'm going to be like, how are you 33 and somehow older than me? Like, how is this possible, Jamie? But all right, let's move on from this one. Very interesting fight here. You're going to start with at middleweight. Pereira back at 185. It's been a very long time since Pereira fought here. Against Petrosky on short notice. This was supposed to be Barrialt, and Barrialt probably would have been a smash spot here. But Pereira right now is minus 205. Petrosky can have plus 170. Under 2.5 is minus 135. What do you got, man?
Yeah, I was going to take the bait on Petrosky, man, but then I just started to think about it more and more, and I made the mistake with Dawson, right? Is when these guys have, and it's not necessarily because I didn't make the mistake with Dawson. He just kind of got knocked the fuck out, but it's when the grappler can't get a hold of these guys because of the lateral movement. And if you're talking about constant lateral movement, that's Michel Pereira. It's going to be a tough task to get a hold of this guy just grappling, right? You're going to have to use your striking to set it up. And the problem with Andre Petrosky is he believes in his striking too much. And sure, we haven't seen enough of Pereira's ground game. Career 94% takedown defense, but when you really dig in deep, who has he fought as a wrestler, right? Especially at 185, where Petrosky is going to be the stronger guy that he's ever faced. But just the wins of Petrosky haven't really proven anything to me. He is undefeated, I believe, at the UFC level, but he did lose before that to Brian Battle and Yazong Hwao, however you say his name. That wasn't the most impressive win for me, even though he was able to get the finish late. People do say he doesn't have the best cardio. I do tend to agree with that, especially when it's on the feet. But Pereira has slowed down. I'm under the assumption that his cardio will be better at 185. And if people want to go back to the Dusko Todorovic loss, I believe that was a fight he was brought in to lose. So yeah, man, I got to go with Pereira here. I think he's the guy that the UFC is a little bit more interested in. Petrosky kind of, had his chance versus GM3 to get that big win and wasn't able to get the job done. I think they know where this guy's skills lie now. He's coming in on short notice. I think he believes he could grapple Pereira. It's definitely possible. I think he wins rounds and wins minutes, maybe even gets a sub, but I'm under the belief that he's just not going to be able to get a hold of this guy due to the lateral movement. And that's why I'm going to take Pereira. I could even see him winning this fight with like a nasty flying knee on a telegraph takedown.
I agree with everything you said, except for the last part, because I'm going to add something here. And it's always good when like Pepe was on Club and Sub yesterday. And I didn't watch Club and Sub live because I had Stargarian on the prop show at 9:00. I was doing the NFL show and I'm like, great. So I didn't even know Pepe was the guest. And we both told Stargarian separately, Pereira sub was an interesting little prop here. And he's like, sell me on that. Like, how's it going to happen? And I'm like, I may be thinking of a different fight. I'm pretty sure it's a Pereira sub. So, or it might have been another sub that I gave, but I'm not saying I think it's the most likely outcome, but at plus 700, I think the line's kind of interesting in that anytime I have a guy who I think is a gasser, and I think the gas concerns are a little overblown with Petrosky. He does fight through it in the third round, but he's fighting through it against real, like the Michael Gilmores of the world. This is different. He fights through it, but a guy who's going to initiate as much grappling as Petrosky is going to initiate. There you go. Pereira sub 2, sub 3 for a poke. This is one of the props I gave away on the show. If Petrosky gasses, and look, he already has gas concerns, and he's on short notice, he's going to start shooting from farther and farther away. What's up, Wiz? He starts shooting from farther and farther away on these takedowns. I mean, look, do I think that Pereira has like an awesome choke series? Not really. But if this fight's going to be fought in a lot of grappling realm, either he's going to get blasted with a knee coming in, which is what you think, which is the more viable outcome for sure, or he's going to wrap up a neck and Petrosky's going to be done. I mean, we've already seen it with Battle. So I think at plus 700, it's kind of wide. It's worth a small poke, but I favor Pereira here. And I do favor Pereira in the distance. And, I would say before I do anything here, I want to see him on the scale. Just make sure he looks all right tomorrow at 185. I don't foresee any problems, but how many times have we seen a guy move up in weight and then still miss weight? And it's just fucking infuriating, right? Like it comes in at 189. And it's like, come on, man, really? So but anyway, we got some lively hoes in the chat to see you, JB. So let's move on. And this is another Twitter war of the week. And this one's super interesting, I think. I won't sum up what I heard in a couple of Twitter spaces yesterday because I don't want to break your brain or mine about why they were picking a certain fighter here. We got a bantamweight fight, Jonathan Martinez, Adrian Yanez. The last time we saw Yanez about 6 months ago, and he was dying to Rob Font. Jonathan Martinez coming off easily the best win of his life against Said Nurmagomedov. Very tactically good fight. The line should probably still be about even. I'm just making sure. 108 for Martinez. Yanez has moved as the slight favorite, the slightest of favorites on DraftKings. I know who you're on here, so or is this me first?
I think it's you.
This is me first. If you're taking this is the other Yambag fight, by the way. You're giving me switch stances. You're giving me a lot of kicks. This is what Stargarian gave away. I love it. The more ball shots, the merrier, right, JB? It's how we do things here. I understand the case for Martinez. I really do, because I could see a fight where he's just leg kicking. He's staying out of range. If there is some clinching against the cage, it's probably Martinez initiating it, probably winning some minutes. Yanez has been kind of lit up by leg kicks in the past. But I don't see Martinez having any finishing equity here, and you're giving Yanez 15 minutes to blast a guy who I think has an incredibly suspect chin. So the pick for me is Yanez, and I'm going to play the KO. Because I don't know if do you see a path that he has for a decision here? Because I don't.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
but I think he wins by knockout, most likely. I do think he could win a decision over 15 minutes. It's gonna be really super fucking greasy, but if there's some equity, right? But yeah, I took Giannis by KO at plus 190. I think that's a likely path, right? I see a few people on the decision, but you said it, man. This guy has a suspect chin, been knocked down 6 times in the UFC already. Yeah, he does have some knockdowns himself, but some of them come from leg kicks, right? Whereas Giannis is he got knocked down 1 time by Rob Font. Before that, he's knocking these dudes' heads off with his boxing, and it's super crisp. I like the way he dealt with the kicks in the Tony Kelly fight. Costa did have success versus him. Grant had some success, but Grant was the guy who knocked out Martinez in the past, and I just feel like Martinez struggles with the boxing personally. I've watched fights like Andre Ewell was able to was able to box him up, use that type of style. Whereas somebody like Giannis is way quicker, in my opinion, punches sting way harder. Um, yeah, I think this is a bounce back spot, buy low for Giannis. And I think people are probably worried, hey, he could get grappled here. I think this guy's defensive grappling skills are actually legitimate. And I think, this is going to be the chance to show it because Jonathan Martinez, we saw it in the last fight versus Saeed. He's trying to use the offensive wrestling a little bit more. But the judges don't really necessarily judge that cage control time because he's holding guys up against the cage like Saeed. And honestly, I don't think he won that fight. I had a bet on Jonathan Martinez there, but it was super close, and I could have gave that to Saeed, who tended to slow it down as the fight went on. I think Giannis gets stronger as the fight goes on. So, barring getting his leg absolutely chewed the fuck up like Cub Swanson, I think he's gonna know that's the plan for Martinez. Be able to defend that and then box him up where boxing is king for me in MMA because that's how you're able to cut the angles, um, get off strike. So, yeah, give me Giannis round 2 knockout. I think it's going to be a left hook.
All right. It's funny because my notes for the last couple of Jonathan Martinez fights, I took the Vince Morales KO and I wrote, Martinez will leg kick him for 15 minutes or get bonked. I'll still take that plus 750 or whatever all time. But that's what I had for those notes. Cub Swanson, he's going to get leg kicked for 15 minutes or he's going to get bonked. Saeed, he's going to get leg kicked. So I keep writing the same thing and it hasn't worked yet. But the fourth time is the charm, JB. The fourth time is the charm. And Giannis hits way harder than any of these guys. So I also think, and this is just me saying this to add to what we're on the Anya side, he's coming off like really his first adversity in the UFC. And he's been off Twitter. Like, this is a dude, him and Randy Costa were like tweeting every 5 minutes. We've seen this too many times for some of these guys that like they get too comfortable on Twitter. Like, dude, you're fighting. Like, just fuck off Twitter for like a week. And it seems like he's like, all right, like, enough fucking around. So I think we're going to see a very different and more focused Yanez. And if he can check a few leg kicks here, I think he's going to fuck Martinez up bad.
Telling you, Yano's got this, guys. I posted a picture of Bobby Green last week. Bet against him like a fucking moron. Posted a picture of Giannis this week. It's going to go all well. When the Jewish bettor posts the pick, you take the pick. So let's get this money made.
I know that my friend Magic made all the Bobby Greens on that fight. So I know that he was very happy. We're at the co-main event. I lied to you. You will be starting with a fourth women's fight on this card. Jennifer Maia against Vivia Rougeau. Rougeau coming off some interesting results because in these two losses, she looked absolutely shitty against Hibas. But then I thought she looked pretty good against Grasso. And the Chukagian fight, which was the loss before that, kind of a weird stylistic fight. Jennifer Maia's coming off a pretty impressive win against King Casey. And yeah, she's a slight favorite. And take it away. I think I know your side here, I believe.
Yeah, man. I'm not as confident as people are on the Maia side. And, man, I'm tailing Yanni the Greek this week, baby. He's on a Rojo. I'm on a Rojo. This is a buy low spot. This is a buy low spot, guys. And, Yanni the Greek is my dude, but everybody knows that Jews are better than Greeks with money, right? right? And look, I was originally the one on the play. I think Yanni saw my video and he took. Nah, I'm just messing around. I'm going with Vivi Rojo here. I think it is kind of true what he said though, right? She's coming off her worst performance. Well, Maya's coming off her two best performance. Both these girls are 35-year-old, kind of similar fighters. I think Vivi has crisp, strong jab that she could use in this spot, and I think she could accrue top control time in this fight. I don't like what I see out of Maya on her back. She doesn't like to get back to the feet. So I think Vivi's going to try and use the offensive wrestling. Last fight was just a weird fucking shit fest, man. She came out of round one, tried to go for a guillotine. He-Boss, a great grappler in her own right. So round one really didn't go the best of ways for her. Comes out, gets immediately fucking put on Queer Street in round two. You know, that wasn't the same girl we saw before versus Alexa Grasso or Andrea Lee. And while Maya is coming off a beautiful performance and it's a close line, a lot of people are going to be looking to take that Maya money. But I'm going to be going with the other side here. Both girls are old as fuck. This is not a confident pick by any means. But I'll take the underdog shot on Rojo. It's fine. If it's in a parlay, so if I'm getting that far by that point, man, give me the dog odds, man. Why not? And I feel like a lot of people are going to be on Maya here, and that's going to be the last from the books. So that's my.
So Pepe is bringing up the split in chat, and I wanted to look at that, but the split is plus 330. That's one of the lower. It's definitely one of the lower split odds you're going to see out there. Like, typically going to juiced over, you'll see plus 350 to 400. Plus 330 is like they're just begging. So I bet Maya earlier in the week. She's one of the first bets I put in. I got her at minus 135 because I liked the price. And as the week has gone on, I hate this bet. Like, and it's only one unit bet. But as the week has gone on, I'm like, and here's the big thing for me. If we get the Arujau that fought Grasso, I think she wins easily here. I think she wins like a pretty convincing 30-27, to be honest. If we get the Arujau that fought He-Boss, I think Maya just pieces her up. So if I think it could be 50-50 the version of her, I have to take the plus money. I think that's how the math works here. I think what I'm going to just end up doing is I'm going to hedge out of this bet. I'm going to bet what I need to bet on Arujau and just kind of wash my hands of it, at least pre-fight. And then once the card starts, I'm going to watch the market a little bit. I kind of want a better price on Arujau for me to get to her for a full bet. In a fight where a plus 330 split decision is there, I feel like whoever you bet, you're going to hate your life, like when they're reading the decision, when that split screen goes up. And, you know, Pepe is a round two guy. For anybody that's watched any of my content on this channel, you will know I always like round two over round one. Do you know why that is, JB?
No, tell me.
Because it pays more. That's why I like it.
Okay, my brother.
It pays more. We got Akio in chat saying Maya dominant. If Arujau looks like she did last fight, I absolutely can see her being dominant here. I think there's a couple of ways this thing can go. But we will move on to the main event, Sadiq Youssef against Edson Barboza at featherweight. I will kick this one off for the main, and then you have a very special announcement for the people, right?
Yes, sir. And if anybody keeps wondering why I'm smiling like this, it's because Pepe said, "Let me see them pearly whites," you know.
I gotcha.
But you know what?
That's how you get a job on ESPN, dude.
Nah, dude, Johnny the Greek, bro. He's got the best teeth in the industry, bro. I couldn't compare, bro.
He
What
better.
I got,
He paid a lot for him. I mean, you know.
what I got is right here, dude. The Jewish sniffer. So we'll stop with all the smiling, with all the teeth showing. We'll just be zoomed up right here.
So, so I'm gonna cap this one a little differently. I actually don't love a side here. I think Barboza, even at his age, like he's been through some wars, but I think his cardio is a lot better than people are giving him credit for. I think he's pretty durable. I mean, Giga liver kicking you, like, okay, like that happens. Sadiq Youssef is not like an urgent finisher. I know that he's like trying to work on his grappling, but like really, we've never seen him like heavily go for it. I think we get pretty much a stand-up fair at range for a lot of this fight. A lot of people are on violence here. I like the overs, man. I really like the overs in this spot. Over 3.5 plus 114 They even do fight starts round 4 at a pretty reasonable price. I think this fight goes long. I'd favor Youssef decision. I do think that, like, as this fight goes on, even if he gets 1 or 2 takedowns late in this fight and can steal a round, I think he's the guy they want to push a little more here too. I think that he's better suited for 5 rounds, especially because he's kind of a slow starter, except for Don Chanis, where like Don Chanis is just fucking terrible. But I favor the overs here, and I know it's not popular. What I will say is this, to give a contrarian bet to the people. Yes, I think there's minimal sub equity here, I guess. But if you like this fight to end in violence, the last I looked, and I'm going to check it right now, but fight to end in KO versus taking a time prop. Oh, it got blasted. Never mind. It was minus 124. Now it's minus 165. So maybe I don't like that as much, but I think these, I don't like these unders, but in all fairness, I didn't really like the under totals last week. And that didn't go so hot. So I don't know, man. What do you got for this one? Take it
Yeah, I
home.
agree. I love the over, bro. I love that spot. You talked about the sub, right? And you talked about, the later you like round 2 a little bit better than round 1, right? How do you feel about Yusuf's cardio? How do you feel about it?
It's good for 2 rounds, maybe.
So you think he slows down a little bit? See, I think Barboza slows down a little bit as well. I think with the weight cut also. I think this one could, the later it goes, I think, Yusuf could find those top positions. I think he could get around 5 sub here, man, or a decision, just like you said. He's going to have to use the offensive wrestling at some point. I think this is a 5-round kickboxing match. Yeah, give it to Barboza all day. But, yeah, I like Yusuf in this spot here, man, pretty confidently, too. I'll take the younger fighter, the guy I think that has a little bit more of the upward trajectory, like you said. Barboza is a guy they could switch from weight class to weight class, and I just really want to see him on the scales this time, dude. I don't know how at let's see, 37 years of age, this guy's making 145, almost 38 years old. So this is another spot like TJ Brown this week. I'm just gonna fade the old motherfuckers. That I
No,
don't
easy with the old motherfuckers.
right.
Easy.
We're talking about fighting here. You hit 35, 36, 37.
I don't
Might
remember
as well,
37.
yeah, you might as
I
well walk
was.
out.
I allegedly was 37 at one point.
You might as well walk out with a cane at that point, my man. So nah, and we've seen these spots where the skills show, but I think these guys are equal at this point in their career, at least on skill set. So give me the guy who's younger, has a little bit more to fight for, in my opinion.
I think we also get a first round that's incredibly uneventful. Like this just seems like that kind of fight where it's getting reads. So you're already burning 5 minutes off the clock. You give me an over 3.5, like plus money. So that's another reason that I like this bet. I just wanted to throw that one in.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite bets on the week too. I like over. We're talking over unders. I like that one. I like the C Rod over as well. I think that's a good one. Both guys pretty durable. So yeah, dude, I like this over here as well. I think a lot of people are just begging for the violence because that's what they want to see in a main event. But yeah, man, I'm with you on this one. I think the last thing I'll say is, that knee connected on Billy Quarantillo, but Quarantillo gets hit a lot, man. And I think we were just seeing a little bit of Edson slowing down in his last few fights. He even got knocked down by Bryce Mitchell. Now, you could say that was due to the threat of the wrestling, but you don't think Yusuf's going to be trying to wrestle somewhat a little bit here? And, once he's in top position, I think he's going to dominate here. So
yeah, maybe not. He may not try to wrestle early, but I do think it'll happen in the first, probably end of the second round or early third round. By the way, I was at the bar during that Quarantillo Barbosa fight, and I lost money because I had Billy Q. But it doesn't matter because I made all the money that night. Because you know what else happened that night? Do you know what else happened that night?
a yam bag?
Ed Herman and Zach Cummings yam bags for the bag. So it didn't matter. I was already a legend at the bar. They were like, "You bet that?" I'm like, I said, "I'm that kind of." I said, "I'm showing the ticket." I'm like, "I'm literally." They're like, "I didn't know you could bet that." And like, also, why would you bet that? I'm like, because and I'm like, by the way, I bet it sober. It wasn't like a bet I made because I'm out drinking. This was a bet I made yesterday. They're like, "Oh, you got problems, dude."
Dude,
Well,
and it's not like you're taking it on every single fight either.
JB, we have made it. We've covered the 12 fights. Before I thank you, the floor is yours for your announcement? Would you like full screen, or are you good with half?
Bro, you can give me the full screen, man, because this is huge fucking news right here, guys. I appreciate my dude Lou here, and I appreciate him letting me on the show. And if you're not already with the money more, get in with the money more, my man. But here's the announcement. This weekend, I will be taking Dylan Dennis by knockout. He got the job done. I'm telling you guys, I got the script in the mail. The Jews have the script. He's going to get the job done. Logan Paul, he's going night-night. 10 racks on it.
That was the announcement? You son of a... Look, do you really think he's going to win?
No, dude. I think. Actually, do you want to know what I think is going to happen? I think he's going to try and submit him. I think he's going to try and take down Logan Paul. Huge brawl ensues.
Just get disqualified and win by.
That's it.
You know what he could say? He won by street rules. Just he got the win by street rules if that's what happens.
Dude, I think that's exactly what he's going to do, bro. And if that's the case, man, this is a winning fucking week for Dylan Dennis. Dude, bopped him over the head with a microphone. Been talking mad shit. Dude, Dylan Dennis.
Sub him and get paid, dude. Like, why not?
And he fucking sucks, bro. He has no fighting ability whatsoever. He's a jiu-jitsu guy who just somehow didn't fight for 4 years. And he's probably has the biggest fight of the year, bro.
He's parlayed this into like, I mean, I don't know what the purse is for this fight, but it's the most money he's ever made. And it's not even close. And I mean, what do you think of the Pauls in general in terms of not like being assholes? I think it's pretty obvious, like they're both assholes. But in terms of like their athletic prowess, like what do you think of them as like boxers, as potential mixed martial artists? Like, what do you think of what they are?
Dude, I think like if fucking Jake Paul was to fight, fucking just give me like a UFC guy. Give me a UFC
he wants to
guy.
fight CM Punk. So like Punk has
dude,
fights.
Dude, I think he would knock the absolute fucking piss out of CM Punk. No doubt. No doubt about it. But CM Punk's not a real MMA. That's a gimmick fight.
Well, neither is Jake Paul. I mean, he's never had an MMA fight. Like,
right. But
I was gonna say, like, I'm trying to think of like a bigger list. How about here you go? How about this for Jake Paul versus Jordan Wright? How about that? He's a real fighter.
I think Jordan Wright would beat him.
What if Jake Paul survived 2 minutes? I think he knocks Jordan Wright out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe. Can Jordan Wright like? I just think the grappling is where you get, that's where you're going to see the problem. Like, these guys actually put in the work in the grappling aspect, the MMA aspect, the kicks, right? It's different when kicks are flying at your head. So I don't know.
The one thing I got to say about both these guys, because I mean, I'm not fans of like whatever.
They fucking suck. They're fags. Can I say that?
Well, it's too late now. I mean, and Mushroom already said it weeks ago. So apparently this is going to be, I mean, at this point I give up, but it's at the end of the show. It's at the end of the show. It's fine. As long as it's not like in the first minute, I guess I don't care anymore. But the one thing I got to give him credit for is like, look, Jake Paul, is he like a refined boxer? Nobody's way better than he has any right to be. And I think you give him the argument, oh, well, he's spending all this money and time. It's like, okay, and you still got to have the drive to do it. You still got to have a skill set. Like, look, man, for where he's at in his journey becoming a boxer, I think he's decent. Logan Paul, dude's had like fucking 10 pro wrestling matches for like WWE. He looks like a natural. Like, he's just a really good athlete. Now, he's a douche, but he moves well. He gets crowd psychology. Like, these dudes are like, they're really good athletes. Like, and I hate it. Like, I wish they were just the worst, but they're decent athletes. And like, I think Logan Paul's going to fuck up Dylan Dennis, man. I think it's not even going to be close. I think within 2 rounds, going to knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, bro. But like, I don't know, man.
Unless it's rigged. Unless it's like a whole thing where they string it out and it goes, you know what I mean? Like, because if you tell me this ends in split and they have to do a rematch, I'm never going to be shocked if that's what happens in a fight, so that we could just drum up more fucking business, dude. You know what I mean? Like, are you a boxing guy at all?
I watch seldomly. I watch, the big fights, right? So
I mean, I'll just say that, like, I loved Triple G, like Gennady Right. And when he fought Canelo, I mean, I've watched that fight 3 times. I watched it live. I thought he won 10 rounds to 2. I watched it back twice. I thought he won 9 rounds to 3 both times. Of course it was a fucking draw. You know why? Now we can do a rematch. Now we can do it in Mexico. Now we can make all the goddamn money. But that's all it is. It's not even a competitive. Like, you're having a first fight literally to get to the second fight. So is that the case here? Probably not, because I don't think they want to give Dylan Dennis more than one fight. I don't think this has drummed up the interest that, like, they thought. Because nobody knows who the fuck Dylan Dennis is outside of, like, MMA Twitter, you know? And a couple of bouncers that have choked them out. Like, nobody really knows who the fuck he is. So it's not like there's interest there, but I don't know. But JB, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I want you to shill all the products that you're doing on Twitter, all the appearances, all that fun stuff, Instagrams, MySpaces, Black Planet. If you have a Black Planet account, now would be the time. But go ahead, talk to the people.
Yeah, JewishDating.com. Please follow me. I'm single.
You're not a farmers only, not a farmers only guy?
Nah, dude. JewishDating.com. I need a nice schnoz to, you know, do what Dutch Jews do to schnozzes. I don't know what that is, but let your mind think of it.
No, you're not promoting anything here? Not promoting?
Yeah, I'm Jewish, so I gotta promote. What do I promote? My Twitter. It should be. This guy now put my Twitter in the thing below. It's at MMAJ Better.
You didn't put it in. I put it in the description.
Okay, so in the description, you go follow that. That's where the fucking shekels are at. And if you didn't know, now you know.
Thank you, Rem Dog, for being here. We appreciate each and every one of you guys in the chat. Lou Betya on Twitter for me. Go watch the prop show with John Sturgarian I did yesterday. Go watch all my NFL content. I'm becoming a thing. Unlike this sport, I'm actually good at capping the NFL. This one, I'm very good. NFL, I'm good.
Bro, give me your picks, because I suck.
My show at WizBets. I'll give you some picks. I'll send them to you tomorrow morning. I want to see if this one line moves, but yeah, a lot of good stuff out there. And then we have a week off. Or no, we don't have a week off. I'm crazy. And then I got props to consider next week with Paul Shaughnessy, the 1-year anniversary of props to consider. I'm very happy. Guys, good luck on your bets, and we will see you soon.